Hello everyone, hope all of you are doing well. In today's session, we are going to continue our journey on MEG 1, particularly the block 1, that is the medieval poet Chaucer. And in this regard, I have already uploaded 8 different videos. In case if you have not watched those videos, kindly watch those videos in order to have some perspective. And today's session, we are going to learn about the pardoner's tale. Now this particular tale is also equally important for your upcoming term and examination, so do watch the video till the end. And yes, a humble reminder to find the playlist of different MEG papers in the description. The link of all those papers are given in the description, as well as some videos narrated in my voice based on love, sacrifice, time travel and much more. So do go ahead and check the description and watch those videos narrated in my voice. And without any further delay, let's get started. So as of now, we are already aware that all these tales, the knight's tales, the miller's tales, the pardoner's tales, the nun's priest's tale, all these tales has been told by the pilgrims who are on a pilgrimage to visit the shrine of Archbishop of Canterbury. Now these particular pilgrims have been saying the story one after another, and this particular story showcase the talent and the unique style of writing of Geoffrey Chaucer in Mid-England dialect. Now in today's session, we are particularly going to learn about the pardoner's tale. So prior to that, let us talk about the introduction of the pardoner. Now the tale begins with the introduction of the pardoner, a member of the church who sells pardons and indulgences to people, claiming that these pardons will absolve them of their sins. Now clearly, for those of you who don't know what does a pardoner mean, in Christianity, particularly in that particular period, a person was entrusted with the responsibility of forgiving people of their sins. Okay, now it might sound little bit it might sound not regular, but yes, it used to happen back then. And this particular person was supposed to be a pious and a virtuous person. However, the pardoner is depicted as a corrupt and hypocritical character, openly admitting to various vices including greed and avarice. Okay, so we all know now that the pardoner who is going to narrate this story as of now in today's session is a very corrupt person. However, his job was to be very much pious and virtuous. Now let us move ahead to the story. The three righteous young men. Now that this particular story of the pardoner revolves around three young men, the pardoner proceeds to tell a story about three young men who are indulging in sinful and riotous behavior in a tavern. They are characterized as being foolish and arrogant. Now, three young men are being introduced in the beginning of the story, and these three young men are indulged in sins and riotous behavior in a tavern. Now, they are also foolish and arrogant at the same time. Now let us talk about the second portion of the story, that is the mansion of death. As the men continue their revelry, they hear a funeral procession passing by. They inquire about the deceased and learn that it was a mutual friend who has died. The cause of death is attributed to a mysterious and elusive figure known as Death, who is taking many lives during this time of plague. Now, as we know that the period of Chaucer's writing also included some natural disasters, and one of them was like plague. This particular story has that mention as well. Now here we see that the three men are aware that they got to know about the death of a particular person who happens to be their mutual friend as well, and the reason behind that death is mysterious and elusive figure known as Death. As we already know that these people are foolish and arrogant at the same time, they are considering that to be an individual. Now after that, what happens is the interesting turn in the story, the quest for Death. Incensed by the idea that Death has taken their friend, the three men decide to seek out Death and avenge their friend's demise. They are given directions by an old man to find Death under a nearby tree. Now look at the stupidity of these three persons. What they do is that after knowing that their mutual friend has died because of death, they have gone for a quest to find out Death and in order to avenge their friend, okay, to take revenge against Death. Now once they went out for this quest, then that happens to be the discovery of treasure. Following the directions, they find not Death but a large hoard of gold coins under a tree. The sight of treasure immediately make them forget their quest for Death. Now being stupid and being arrogant and being foolish, and at the same time they were greedy as well, okay, because once they were on the quest to find out Death in order to avenge their friend and being directed on a particular direction by an old man, they found out large hoard of gold coins under a tree. The three men conspire to divide the gold among themselves. However, they are soon overtaken by greed and mistrust. two of them plot to kill the third when he returns from the town from food and wine, intending to keep the gold for themselves. Meanwhile, the man who goes into the town to buy supplies also has a sinister intentions. He purchases poison with the aim of killing his companions and keeping the treasure for himself. So here we see that along with greed, there was a mindset of treachery as well. Now let me explain to you what is happening here. The three men who discovered the gold were like overtaken by greed. Yes, then the one person out of the three was sent to the town to get some supplies, and the other two plans to kill him once he returns back. On the other hand, the person who goes to the town also have some mischievous and sinister plans by poisoning the food that he's bringing on the way in order to kill the two of his friends and have the gold for himself. The next part is irony and death's victory. When the man who went to town returns with food and wine, he is met with treachery from his companions. As they were planning to kill him, they attack and kill him. However, the two men who conspired to murder him also drink from the poisoned wine and die as a result. In a darkly ironic twist, Dark seemingly takes all the three men and they perish in the pursuit of worldly wealth. Now, this is a particular irony in this story that all the three men who were in the pursuit to avenge their mutual friend who died because of death were also taken by death because of greed and treachery. So the irony in this story is that they were out to seek revenge against death, and eventually death consumed all of them because of their greed and treachery. Now, eventually the final conclusion that the pardoner's tale we see is the moral and hypocrisy. The pardoner concludes his tale with a moral lesson, warning the other pilgrims about the dangers of avarice and the love of money, stating that it is the root of all evil. However, in a striking display of hypocrisy, he attempts to sell his pardons and relics to the company, revealing the stark contrast between his moral message and his own corrupt intentions. Now, here we see that the hypocrisy in the pardoner's character, that eventually his story is good. Okay, his story gives a very good moral message to be like careful about the greed. Okay, not to fall for greed and not to be treacherous, but his own character is equally different from what his story is suggesting. He sells his pardons in order to get money, and that is against all the virtuous messages of Christianity. In summary, the pardoner's tale is a cautionary narrative that exposes the pardoner's hypocrisy as well as a commentary on the destructive nature of greed and the consequences of sin. It serves as a satirical critic of the moral corruption within the church during Chaucer's time. Now, those who have watched my previous video on Age of Chaucer, I have clearly explained the corrupt practices of the church as well as the natural disasters during that period, the tumultuous period during which Geoffrey Chaucer was writing in his mid-England dialect, and he got popular with this. So eventually with this particular story, a particular message has been given which depicts the current scenario of that particular period in England. So this is a wrap on today's video, guys. I hope you have a clear understanding on this particular tale, that is Pardoner's Tale, which is included in the Canterbury's Tales and equally important for your upcoming term and examination. So I hope that you've also checked out the description where you will find the links for different playlists of different MEG papers, and I hope that you have also watched the videos given in the top of the description which are narrated in my voice, which is based on love, sacrifice, time travel and much more. In case if you have not joined our social community handles, do consider to join them as well to be continuously updated about any of Nigno's latest notifications. Until we meet next time, God bless you and thank you all.